Hare Krishna, dear friends. We will continue our Gopala Champu first canto from this wise describe the lakes of Raja. There is the description of Govardhan, Vrindavan is going on. We'll read it. The wise describe the lakes of Raja. Look, residing in the forest without moving, the lakes nourish all things. Determining this, the best of lakes increase the rivers by their flowing waters. Part of the Yamuna's bank is filled with lotuses and water lilies, and a part is filled with forests of various flowers. It is sweet with the peacock's cries, the bees buzzing, the cuckoo's warbling. Anointed with the cosmetics of the gopis and marked with the symptoms of the Rasa Leela, the land gives pleasure to the nose, eyes, and ears. Bandira banyan tree does not rise up to the sun. Instead, by spreading out its branches, the cowherd boys can frequently cross over the river. Looks like the Bandira branches are, they can use that to cross over the river. It extends into the river.
It's a bridge, huh?
Looks like that bridge. And there is also the Rasa Leela and happened, the gopis, cosmetics, and all they were left here and there. So those are there describing the bridge now. Part of Bandira banyan tree serves as cave or a house. Its broad branches serve as a comfortable bed, and its creepers serve as a swing. What pastimes of Krishna does the tree not serve? A tree is engaged in all the pastimes of the Lord. To the north of the Bandira banyan tree, the place called Ramaghata emanates all types of happiness. In that place, Balarama, revealing pleasure, enjoys pastimes and becomes blissful. The beautiful, praiseworthy, protecting deities of Goloka as the protectors of the directors reside in the sky in aeroplanes. The four deities headed by Vasudeva act as protectors of the directions by accepting leadership of the armies. What significance can do the four human goals of Artha, Dharma, Kama, and Moksha have here? How can the supreme place called Goloka be compared to ordinary objects? The Devatas call it an ocean of nectar. The poets call it fame personified. The Vishwakarma deities call it an amazing construction. The Gyanis call it Brahman containing all types of bliss. The devotees of the call it the personification of prema. In this way, Goloka is viewed in many ways by many people. What is its power? How amazing! What skill in dancing? What place is this? Has the prema described by Sukadeva taken a body? In this way, the protectors of the directions in Goloka conjecture about Goloka. Every day they are bewildered and agitated by the place called Goloka. The Goloka is described as a body of prema itself. That's why devotees desire to live in Goloka.
Conjecture means?
It's an opinion. It's not a fact. It's opinion. Thus, though Goloka is beyond the intelligence, it forcibly enters the intelligence. I truthfully say that I do not hanker after objects which give pleasure, nor do I disdain them.
Oh, it's very powerful.
But I have developed a desire to see the eternal planet of Krishna, which produces affection for Krishna and for which Krishna has affection. The place has affection for Krishna and Krishna has affection for the place. Okay. It is most desirable to hear the name of Goloka in all the unlimited universes and in all the Vaikuntha planets. On hearing it, even Lakshmi desires it. In Goloka, Krishna resides with his prominent friends. My heart has become inundated by their sweetness and become attracted to them at every moment. Oh, what shall I do? I have hastily begun this description, but I do not know how to continue.
Pastel means?
Very without patience. Yes. First of all, there is seen this absorption in Krishna's beauty and appropriate pastimes. There, he's describing what are all the things seen. First, he calls the cows from the sheds for taking them to the pasture. Then he plays with his friends. The cows wander away. He goes searching for them. He calls for them and then goes far away to fetch them. He tells his friends to go and bring the cows. Then he plays. Then he plays with his friends. Remembering these pastimes, I become excited. Jiva Goswami saying.
Mm.
Sometimes Krishna and Balarama hold hands, laugh, and make others laugh. This agitates my heart. The sound of the flute may make the trees blossom and may suddenly liquefy the mountains. It may make the water stop flowing and make the river flow to the west instead of the east. But why does the sound of flute suddenly come so close with such power, enters the ears and agitate the devotees meditating on Krishna? For one cannot say whether it causes happiness in their minds. When Krishna wanders about for his pastimes in various places through the tree blossom and bliss, there is no question and no speaker there. There is nothing to ask and nothing to explain. But it attracts the minds of the devotees. While herding the cows, the boys, with tears in their eyes, sing songs with sweet melodies. Remembering the pastimes from Krishna's birth, they immediately begin to faint.
Is it about Goloka in the spiritual world or in this material?
Same Goloka only everywhere extended, right? Even in the spiritual Goloka, they know that how Krishna was born and grew up and all.
But
They
there's
have
no
that, yeah.
child pastimes.
No, there is no child. Everybody has past. They have a remembrance of past, which never took place in the spiritual world.
No.
How should the mind be controlled since those cowsheds make my mind desirous of seeing them? The trees, like abodes of the cowherds, are surrounded by powdered cow dung, fragrant and shining like excellent musk. The cowsheds give rise to hundreds of memories through the trees, through those trees, through the young calves present there during the day, and through the cows which surpass Surabhi cows present there at night. In the dawn and the dusk, as well as memories arise. Let the cows free, milk the cows, collect the milk buckets, gather the cows, go to the house, put Krishna in front, sing the pastimes of Krishna, shed tears while your hairs stand on end. The blissful daily actions of the cowherd overcome my heart. These are the different phrases they say. He's remembering those phrases. Are you listening?
Yeah, Rajabasi is remembering.
No, Jiva Goswami is remembering the different statements of Rajavasis. He says, "Oh, go collect the buckets." Somebody else is saying, "Gather the cows." Somebody else is saying, "Put Krishna in the front and then walk."
It is from his meditation.
Yeah. The roads strongly attract my heart, like the yards filled with kirtana. As the people freely converse while coming and going on the roads, one can hear constant utterance of Rama, Krishna, 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 Krishna. The joyful growth of Krishna's concerts, now he's coming into Madhurya Rasana, which are like the lotus petals, are now described.
But in Vrindavan, Krishna does not concerts.
The concerts means gopis. They cause embarrassment to incapable poets, since they contain most astonishing objects hard to describe. In some places, groves by their components give the impression that they are houses. In some places, the hundreds of houses give the impression that they are only bowers because of their beauty. In some places, there is water thick with the blossoming lotuses at every step. And in other places, then there are land lotuses. How can one describe each object there? Hearing the songs composed by the Sakis and the forest deities with the musical embellishments, revealing sweet ragas, sweeter than honey, describing the Purva Raga of the gopis filled with the pains of prema for Krishna, who can determine whether it is happiness or grief?
What is Purva Raga?
Purva Raga is the love one has for Krishna before meeting Krishna. For the first time, before even meeting Krishna. That's Purva Raga. The hearts of poets become constantly filled with various sentiments while meditating on Krishna as he performs pastimes with the gopis, which are the essence of affection, Fine songs, artistic dancing, gathering filled with the prema, and great mock quarrels. Prema behaves like kama. The actions of prema create strife. What is strife? Angry or bitter disagreement over fundamental conflict. Emotions like being stunned overcome the Sakhis. Hearing of their pastimes surpasses all other subjects heard. The pastimes between Krishna and the gopis within the forest of Vrindavana reign supreme, dispelling all judgment. Krishna has unlimited attraction for the gopis at every moment, and the gopis have similar attraction for him. For there is great happiness in their meeting. But in the happiness of meeting, the Sakhis with unconditional love for him have greater longing than he has. This cannot be described. Understood? The Sakhis have greater love, longing for Krishna than Krishna has longing for them when they meet. The gopis possess beauty expressed by the word beauty. They reveal beauty as special ornaments for Krishna, who is decorated with flawless ornaments. So the ornaments gopis provide to Krishna is their own beauty. Is it possible to praise Radha by saying Lakshmi cannot compare to Radha? So you cannot say Lakshmi cannot be compared to Radha because Radha is much more. That's what he said. The other gopis who surpass Lakshmi cannot compete with Radha's beauty. Since persons like us are incapable of describing the nature of the gopis, what can be said of actually seeing them? Radha and Madhava are seated on a great throne in a splendid place amidst the trees on grounds made of gems more brilliant than the sun. Their beauty can be seen only by intimate associates and not by others. They are fanned by Sakhis on all sides to keep the bees away. That sweet nectar uselessly tries to satisfy my thirst.
Oh, the fans are for bees, huh? Not for the...
Situated on petals filled with bliss are thousands of lofty desire trees whose roots are hidden by thick branches, standing like members of an assembly. So now it's being described, the entire thing. There are so many desires. In their center is the pericarp of the lotus with attractive pollen of various colors. In the center is the continually shining abode of the cowherd Krishna with his associates. It is inconceivable, made of chintamani with 7 layers, emitting effulgence and causing astonishment to the eyes. Surrounding that shining place is an incomparable abode with the billions of similar other cities. Affectionate singers are also uncertain of the full greatness of this place. They say, around Nanda Maharaj's palace are many houses in a circular pattern. It seems that the halo of the sun is embracing its friend, the lotus of Gokula. The sun has halo.
Halo means?
Light around it. It's the round light. You will have around the head halo. Like that, around the sun, you have the light, right? Like the halo of the sun.
So it means their home is like sun.
It's like their home is like a sun, and the light is like the surrounding homes, which is embracing. It's embracing its friend, the lotus of Gokula. Or the other meaning is the sun is light is embracing the friend of who is Gokula, lotus. Lotus is a friend of sun. Okay, because lotus loves sun. So the Gokula is compared to lotus, and the sunlight is embracing their friend by lighting them. That's what it is.
Friend who? Friend Krishna?
Gokula. That's what I'm saying. Gokula is compared to lotus. Lotus is friend of sun.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Sun is embracing lotus, like sun is now embracing Gokula by the light. Or is this a circular residence surrounding Nanda's palace? The singers praise the inhabitants as follows. Their acquisitions surpass those of all men's prayers. Their desires are the foremost desires. Their dharma is greater than that mentioned in the Vedas, and their liberation surpasses liberation. Artha, dharma, kama, and moksha reside in Gokula for the inhabitants who are thirsty for Krishna only to serve him. Their houses, wealth, friends, wives, self, son, life, and aspirations are only for Krishna. So the inhabitants are being praised by the singers. They're saying they have everything and all the wealth they possess just to serve Krishna. In Gokula, the eye, ear, mind, and other senses are useless without Krishna. Krishna is the eye of the eye. There is a footnote here. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It is. Look, this statement of the Vedas is personified in Gokula. Do puppets and strings reside in Gokula to astonish the world, or do the cowherd people bound by internally by the strings of the love for Krishna wander here and there? So the boys and the cowherd people, right? They're like puppets, and the strings are the love for Krishna, and they are those love for Krishna is activating like them, like this. It is well known that the inhabitants of Raja regard themselves as relatives of Krishna, such as father, mother, or uncle. Such prema of the inhabitants for Krishna is offered to the perfect devotees according to their desire. So you get the love according to your desire. See, you should underline this. Okay, this is for the perfected devotees, not for sadhakas. Thinking about it, it becomes possible. If there is genuine realization in the devotees, it is auspicious. If there were no realization, would not new poetry about Krishna be improper? I consider that whatever the devotees desire should be respected. In that place where the cowherds live, there are assembly halls suitable for all participants. There are huge gates as big as cities, full of various decorations with roads which radiate in all directions up to the gates, which appear like stamens of lotus. They're describing the gates and the roads. There are huge, beautiful houses facing each other, resplendent and desirable by all. There are huge thrones with immovable legs for lions among men, firm as lions whose eye increase in beauty at all times. There, the inhabitants of the inner and the outer chambers of the palaces mix together and shower hundreds of types of happiness. In that palace, people sitting in one place appear in counter forms in other places like figurative poetry. Not only that, they also have echoes like allusions in poetry. But the great devotees have pure hearts and accept others' qualities within. This famous trait is well known, appearing in this way. When new people see those forms, they become the object of laughter for all because of their confusion. It's too much Sanskrit things are used, poetical devices, poetical devices. When Krishna, full of happiness and abundant beauty, a mass flowing with the highest bliss, satisfies the chakora eyes of the people by his sweet appearance, the greatest festival makes its appearance. So when Krishna appears, everybody's eyes become filled with the sweet, they get satisfied. Among the assembly halls is the palace of Nanda, attractive to all, which is known to have 5 compartments. Govinda resides there with his mother and father, describing the Nanda's home. 4 parts of the palace spread out amidst the assembly halls. Though they are 4, they have many thousands of rooms each. The 5th one is in the center, is the most astonishing with a great courtyard. So they have like much like parts. Huh? To the west are houses spread around Yashoda's lives in the group of houses. To the north, Rohini lives. Oh, sorry. To the west are the houses spread around. Yashoda lives in this group of houses. To the north, Rohini lives, overcome by fresh bliss. In the east lives Nanda, which is served by all people. In the south are houses filled with gifts and food for honoring relatives.
In the south, where Krishna lives.
That's not mentioned. Outside of the central area are the 4 divisions. Each is abundant in inner and outer chambers, which are nourished by highly satisfied people. Starting from the west and going to the east and other auspicious directions, most auspicious Yashoda presides. Balarama, who engages in play at Ramagata, resides in the north. You remember that, huh?
Rohini stays in the north.
There's so much remembrance. Huh? Nanda, the goal of all people, resides in the east, and Krishna, the joy of Govardhana, resides as the master in the south. How do you know?
I don't know.
In two areas within the middle compartment, famous with the names of Balarama and Krishna, who are thirsty for private affairs day and night, are the residential palaces of the most exalted women. In these areas, groups of Sakis are engaged in various arts and sing stories of the most astonishing Purva Raga of their group leaders. So the Sakis also come inside there. Oh. That sweet singing melts even the trees growing there. It also melts the hearts of the couple who have met after great difficulties. Surrounding these two compartments are two other rooms with outer and inner compartments for sitting. Balarama's is to the north, Krishna's is to the south. The blissful doors in the center of these compartments face the doors of two compartments nearby. I think we need to draw, I guess.
Yeah.
This city with the 7 layers is most astonishing in construction. The abode of Gokula with equally sized houses on their own roads, towering many stories high, is attractive to all people. All the rows of houses have gem-studded walls. Each of them appears to be two houses because of the reflections of other houses on their jeweled surfaces. So other homes reflecting there. With doors on both sides of the houses which face each other, giving joy to all directions, the houses are most astonishing. Within a
But
huge,
Rahul, this looks like Vaikuntha.
yeah, but that's very common. Cowherds, they might think they're Vaishyas, right? Basically, they earn money, right? Money are with Vaishyas, so they can live very opulently. But that may not look very opulent. That's just a part of their life. It will be like that. And Nanda is the king for that, king kind of head of the Raja, right? Within a huge courtyard in the center of all these buildings is the most beautiful crown jewel of buildings. It is huge like Meru mountain, with rows of stairs blissful to climb, with many doors, small doors glowing with light. It is supported by fine pillars and shines with a fluttering flag on its summit. When Krishna stands as an ornament on the top of the palace, raised to the topmost position like a great sapphire conquering all places and moving about, does he not nourish all people of that planet by his bodily effulgence? The city is on the upper portion of the pericarp,
Pericarpus?
the central part.
Mm.
Lotus, huh?
Mm.
This pericarp is there, right?
Yeah,
Upper
okay.
portion. Upper portion is the
Mm.
city. On the lower part of the pericarp is another city.
Oh.
This contains the abodes of all of Krishna's beloved women. It is situated at the border of the petals, which are like the Krishna's courtyard. Since the doors are locked, no one knows about this place. The houses shine like the sun with gleaming jewels. The breeze brings the aroma of fine flowers. The place produces constant pleasure by its independent nature arising from its solitude. There are vast pavilions decorated with a multitude of ingredients such as beds, seats, umbrellas, and chamaras for pastimes, which give bountiful joy. There are thousands of models of men, animals, and birds which actually move about. There are many special places allotted to the consorts which appear like the abode of Ananta. Walking along the paths, Krishna giving bliss to his beloveds, enjoy the various gardens situated on the lotus petals along with these women. From one garden, he goes to another square garden by a secret door. Looks like there are so many houses, right?
Mm.
And there are the gardens are connected. You can enter into the garden of one and can go to the other. In a similar way, Balarama goes to his private forest called Ramagata by a level path hidden by pools of water extending to the edge of the lotus petals, which make the path narrow. So the entire Goloka is described like a lotus.
Mhm.
That's why we see in Srimad Bhagavatam first can. But how the description goes so detailed is
It
very
looks like
difficult.
very small.
The up to down, I don't understand how it works.
Probably it's a mountain.
Perhaps. The flags flutter in various directions because of the soft breeze. But when the fragrance of Krishna, oh, sorry, where did they come? Choirs have glorified the city of Nanda, which has been just described. The flags flutter in various directions because of the soft breeze. But when the fragrance of Krishna arrives on the wind, all the flags point in that direction of the fragrance. Understood? Because of the constant rays of the moon, the place becomes completely auspicious. Moonstone parts on the spires appear to be towering crowns similar to mountain peaks. The roofs are made of flawless diamonds, seem to become one with the luminaries in the sky because of the reflection they produce. Diamonds are there, the roofs. Peacocks, pigeons, and cuckoos dwell in Goloka without worry. Crying out in the forest, they seem to be quarreling or conversing. Golden walls embedded with colorful pictures made of gems illuminate all directions to enable the children to see the sweetness of the childhood pastime. So they have graffiti in the wall with gems, which is describing Krishna's pastimes. The houses with verandas like wide bosoms embrace Krishna continuously. The houses act like the devotees living in the houses, and the houses act like the devotees living in the houses, and they continuously embrace Krishna. The houses are embracing Krishna by giving
Vastu.
space. Giving space.
Vastu,
Not Vastu.
the personality.
That is different. But the house itself is described here. Personality. In front of the houses are courtyards shining like jewel mirrors, from which young girls gaze at Krishna with shyness and bent heads. There are small pools surrounded by ground studded with a moonstone. Oh, the beauty of Radha's face and other gopis' face says fill these pools at all times. Gokula's beauty surpasses that of Vaikunta. You asked Vaikunta, it surpasses Vaikunta. The forest of Vrindavana exceeds the desires of Lakshmi. In Gokula, all the auspicious splendor of Vaikunta resides. There is no equal to the inhabitants of Gokula or Goloka. Krishna is the enjoyer there, and the sweetness of prema is to be enjoyed constantly. Krishna surpasses the individual and collective minds of all persons. Who can find an end to his glories? You have 5 more minutes. Even 2:17 we started. No, it's 2:35. So we have 20 more minutes.
No, we have to be
30 minutes. Okay. Who can find into his glories? Even I have understood the great nature of prema in Krishna and his associates, because Krishna, Nanda, Yashoda, and the Devatas cannot soften my hard heart one bit. But the strong prema they have for him and his prema for them has made my heart soft. He is glorifying prema than Krishna himself. Of all auspicious things in the world, prema is the most auspicious. Is Krishna directly prema, or the people of Vraja directly prema? When prema appears in either Krishna or his devotees, it appears constantly in me. Though Brahma, Shiva, and Narada desire to reveal this prema, they do not have the power to do so. Prema is most astonishing. Though the prema of the people of Vraja is happiness beyond the material senses, it is a strong cause for attaining Krishna. That inconceived bhava called prema is not subject to material speculation, like the supreme Brahman mentioned in the Vedas, which is said to be the cause of the universe. Since it has this nature, this prema attracts my heart. Understanding personally or from others that favorable actions are those performed with great thirst for Krishna, I desire the mentality of those worshipable cowherd people who become unsteady with longing to see him as they come and go from the inner chambers of Nanda's palace. Seeing those inhabitants of Goloka is most astonishing. Nanda and Yashoda, like the sun and moon, followed by their affectionate associates, like the constellations, revolve on the zodiac of Krishna's beauty, pulled by the strong rope of prema. So Nanda and Yashoda are like the moon and sun. The nakshatras are there, which are the associates, and they all revolve around Krishna Krishna is the zodiac, and they all revolve around the zodiac, like they are pulled by the ropes of prema. Though their singing is commonly performed, it carries special attraction. In the assembly of elders, they sing about the birth and baby years of Krishna. In the assembly of his friends, they sing of his pastimes of defeating devatas during his Pauganda age. In the assembly of devotees, they sing about his great mercy to sinful entities like Kaliya. In the assembly of the gopis, they sing the pastimes of Purvaraga. Who?
Singers.
And inhabitants of Purva. When ordinary devotees faint on hearing songs about Krishna, observers cannot understand whether they are happy or suffering. How can they understand the mixture of Santa, Dashya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura Rasas in the devotees' hearts any more than they can distinguish a mixture of milk and water? Oh, the following two verses appearing in the steady mind have made my mind unsteady. When Krishna says, Mother, mother, give me that, Yashoda says, Oh child, oh son with long life, dear to my life, what are you saying? These words filled with affection, signs of love, make me remember the mother and son in Gokula. Oh Yashoda, you have performed many pious acts in previous lives. Your son is speaking in front of you, eats, tells what he wants, asks for his favorite things, and laughs. Meditating on Nanda's words, choked up because of great affection, my mind becomes unsteady and stops functioning. You're understanding? He's describing just the conversation between Krishna and Yasoda. It's so sweet. Simple conversation only he's mentioning it. It's so sweet that it completely stops his meditation and makes him unsteady. Yeah. Chapter over. Chapter 2. Beauty of Goloka. We'll stop here.
Yeah.